Okay, so I've started the recording. So here on my screen, as you can see, the agenda for today. So we will discuss two concepts. Okay, which is one is working with iframe. Okay, we will be talking about that in a short while. And second is what are assertions in Selenium, right? So if we start from this first, so working with iframe. So as you can see on my screen, what is the definition? If I read that for you, iframe is a web page which is embedded, or you can say only fixed, which is fixed in another web. The iframe is often used to insert the content from the another source, such as an advertisement or it. Okay, and if you find such a tag like this, then that tag specifies that you are using an inline frame. So if I do not talk about the definition, let me show you some practical. Okay, so if I open, let me open one Chrome browser first, then it will be more clear. There is one website for it. If I type this one, if I open this one, so here it is the one. Okay, so before dropping into that, going into that concept first, let us try to click this one. Okay, or let me, what I will do, I will try to fetch the text of this. So what is the text here? Drag me to the target. Okay, so if I try to get this, first I will open the website. So what I will write, see, so these two steps are common, so I am not writing them again. Okay, so if I try to write them, so what is the URL? This is the URL, and after that what I have to do, I have to fetch the text of this, which is this one. Okay, drag me to my target. So how I have to do, first I will right click and inspect it so that I will know what is the coding part. So let me make it a little bit. Okay, so if I try to inspect it, okay, so this is the one we are interested in. So what is the, you can say, XPath for it. Okay, if I try to write the XPath, so let me open this. What will be the XPath? Okay, so this is my, okay, you can say this is the XPath. How I will write, double slash div at the rate id equals to draggable. So this is the XPath, but that XPath will not allow me to grab the text because we have to reach here. Okay, I have written the XPath for this one, but my actual text is present inside that p tag. So what I will write, I will use the absolute XPath concept. So I will write slash p. Okay, so this is my complete XPath. So, okay, so let me check that as well, whether we have written the correct XPath or not. So I will open the ChroPath and just I will paste my XPath here. Okay, so you can see that it is just highlighting this in the yellow, right? And it is saying one element matching, which means our XPath is correct. So if I have to fetch the text, how I will write, string text equals to driver dot find element by dot XPath by dot XPath, and I have to just use one method, which is get text. So if I try to print that text, what will happen? See, I will write text. Okay, so I'm just simply trying to print this text, which is drag me to my target. So if I try to run this, let us run this. Okay, so okay, let me run this first, then we will talk. So I have started this. Okay, so I think it is still loading. Then okay, so from the next when I will execute next time, I will make the browser in maximize mode. Okay, by writing the code. So anyways, you can see that the our code is failed. Okay, see what is the error here? It is saying unable to locate element. Okay, I think this is the element. So this is the element, right? We have written the XPath for this one, but it is saying that unable to locate element. So why this error got happened? See here, if I, let me close this. Okay, if I come here, okay, so what will, what is happening here, because this you can see these two boxes, this one and this one, are present inside this frame. You can say, let me come here. Okay, so if I am highlighting this, you can say that both these boxes, drop here and drag me to my target, are present inside this iframe tag, right? Which means that here they have used the concept of iframe. And if I come to the definition part again, it is just like iframe is just like a web page which is fixed in the another web, like meaning that that whatever these two, suppose there is some line of code here, or you can say these boxes as well. So might be these two boxes are coming from the another web page, but here they have smartly used the concept of iframe, so that they are able to display the content here. But these two, assume as of now, these two boxes are coming from the another page. So here by default Selenium will not be able to handle that iframe, right? We have to provide some code to the Selenium so that Selenium will understand, okay, that these two boxes, you can see this one and this one, are present inside this iframe, and then Selenium can do the code whatever we provide, right? So first we have to switch to this frame. So is it clear to you what is the issue we are facing here, due to which we are not able to print the text? Please confirm. Okay, so before that, okay, so what I will do as of now, okay, so let me do from here. Okay, if I, after that what I will do, we will land on this website. After that we know that there is one frame, right? So I will write driver. Okay, this is one method, this is our object, driver is our object. Inside that object, if I put dot switch to, and that is one method. Okay, this is the method, and inside that method there is one more method which is frame. So as of now you can see that three similar methods are coming, but inside that, first is expecting one integer, second is expecting some string value, and third is expecting the web element, right? So third one is, first we will use the third one, right? So what is this web element? It is saying that either you can provide XPath or CSS, or you can use any other locator. So we will start from this third one, which is frame of web element, right? So if I click this, inside this what we have to provide, we have to provide the web element of the iframe. So how we will provide, let me open this again. Okay, so this is our frame. If I inspect it again, so this is our frame, right? You can see, I hope you are able to see that it is highlighting the entire box, which is our frame. So if I can write one XPath, or you can say one CSS for it, okay, or you can use class selector as well by dot class name. So here what I will use, I will use CSS selector. Okay, so how I will write the CSS for this iframe? So see here, if I open this, I have told you that how to make the CSS. I can use this one, tag name dot class name. This is one shortcut I have already told you. Okay, so this is the shortcut, or you can make your own XPath CSS like this, tag name, attribute equals to, okay, so these are the, you can say this is the normal way to make XPath, sorry, CSS, normal way to make CSS. Okay, so this is the shortcut, and there is one more shortcut as well, which I have already told you that you can use dot class name as well. Okay, this is also the one shortcut. Okay, so I think I should go with this one because this is very simple to get. Okay, so I will use this one, dot class name. Okay, so what is the class name here? You can see that this is the class name, demo hyphen frame. Okay, so if I write like this, then what is the CSS? Let me write in another line. CSS is dot and then class name, right? So this is my CSS. So this way I can first write the CSS for the iframe. Okay, so let me check this as well, whether we have written the correct CSS or not. If I click and press enter, see that it is saying one element matching. Okay, and it is highlighting the entire box, which means our CSS is correct. Okay, then I will come to my Eclipse part, and inside that what I will write, I will write driver dot find element by dot CSS selector. What is our CSS? This is the one. Okay, so okay, so what you have to do, like this. Okay, one more thing you can do like this as well. Suppose you have to write web element, you can do like that as well, web element of you can say iframe equals to driver dot find element by dot css selector. You can do this way as well, and I am not going to write this whole line here. Okay, I will just write this iframe here. So this is also the one of the way. Okay, you can give any name to this. Okay, it's up to you. And let me import the package. Okay, so what this line is doing, this line is switching your driver scope to, you can say, iframe, right? So here I am just providing the css of the iframe, and due to this line, you can say that this code of line, we are able to switch the scope of driver. And after that, if we try to fetch the text this time, right, by using this one, then it will be able to do that, because driver is now focusing on the iframe. Okay, or you can say whatever the window, iframe window, right? So before that, let me write one method as well, so that our browser will open in maximize mode. Driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. So this is the, you can say, code to maximize our Chrome browser, right? So let me run this again, and this time let us see what is the output it is printing. So the website is still loading, and then after it finish loading, we can see the output in our console. So it is still loading, you can see on the top left. Okay, so it has finished loading, and then I think, see, it has printed this drag me to my target, because this time our driver is focusing on this window, right? Or you can say the driver object has the knowledge of this iframe, that yes, inside that iframe I have to first switch, and then I will grab the text. So is it clear to everyone that how we are switching to that iframe window? Okay, fine, thank you. So what we will do, okay, so as I've told you that here, if you come, I think here, yeah, if I, what I'm telling you, that it has three methods. Okay, so let me write it here as well. That will be, so what is the first method? First method is when you write a driver dot switch to dot frame. Inside that, what you have to write, you can say web element, right? You can use either css, or you can say, you can provide the XPath here as well of iframe. Okay, or you can use any other locator. So this is our first method, and there is second method as well, which is, okay, so let me write it small d only. So which is what is the second method? Driver dot switch to dot frame. Okay, so inside that, it will not expect the web element, right? Let me come here first, and then if I put dot, right, so here it is just asking for the, okay, let me do it again, to dot frame. Okay, so consider this one here. Okay, so inside this as well, you can provide the id, right, in the form of string, right? So what is the id? If I try to see, come here, and then let me close this. Okay, so this is my original browser. So you can see, if you click this iframe, try to select that iframe, let me come here. Okay, so you can see that it is selecting, but here you can see that id attribute is not present, right? Class attribute is present, and suppose id attribute like this one. Okay, suppose this id equals to draggable is present here on that iframe, right? So we can use the value of this id. Okay, we can use this id value here. Okay, but here it has not provided the value, so I am not going to execute it, right? So you can do this way as well, and this way also it will execute your code easily, right? So this is the second way. Let me write it here. You can provide the id name here. Okay, or you can say id attribute value. So this is also the one of the way, value here. Okay, so this is also one of the way. And what is the third method? And third method is, it will, let me copy this again. Okay, so what is our third method? Third method is it will ask for the, you can say, index number, you can say. So if I write 0 here, right, let me come here first. So if I remove this again, so again you will see one more method, which is this one, integer of argument, right? So it is asking one integer value. So suppose uh, if I open, let me open paint only. Okay, so suppose assume that you have three frames. One is, this is one frame, and this is one frame, and this is one frame, right? Likewise you can have n number of frames. So what will happen, 0, if you write like this. Okay, let me copy this as well, dot. Okay, so here I will use index value. If I copy this here, okay, so if I write like this, okay, so what will happen, suppose if I write 0 here, right? So by default what will happen, it is saying that we have to switch to this first frame. Let me write it here as well, right? So index of this is 0. Okay, so by default what will happen, if I provide 0 here, it will switch to first frame, which is this one. And suppose if I write 1 here, if I write 1 here, so what will happen, it is saying that switch to this one, which is this one, second one. So it, we will able to switch if I write 1 here, right? And if I write 2 here, okay, let me name this as 0 1. Okay, so it will start like that only, right? So if I write 2 here, so if I write 2 inside this, then what will happen, it will switch to third frame, right? So this is also one of the way you can use to switch between the frame. If you have multiple frames, you can either provide the web element, or if you have the id for this, suppose you have one id for this, okay, and suppose you have different id for this one as well, okay, so, or you can use the id one, or you can use the indexing one, right? So with the help of the 0 1 2, providing the like 0 1 2, you will be able to switch. So is it clear to everyone that we can use the indexing part as well? And let me also show you that here. Suppose you can say, okay, so this is my website. So what I will do with the help of indexing concept, which is just I have told you, okay, I will try to grab the text, this one. But first let us check how many frames are present inside this, you can say web. Then only we can assign 0 1 2, right? Because first we have to check how many frames are present inside this web page. So what I will do, let me, as of now, let me write nothing here. Okay, let me comment this. So before that, what I will do, and let me also remove this whole code. Okay, so what I will do, first I will check, first I will check total, you can say, iframe present inside the, you can say, web page. So what I will do, I will write one, I will make the use of driver dot find elements. So what I will write, because we are fetching all the iframe, okay, so this one we will use find elements. How we will find, by dot, you can say, tag name, because all the iframes will have the tag name iframe. So how this, let me open again. So this is the tag name, right? Iframe. I hope you are able to see, this is the tag name. Okay, so all the iframes will have this tag name. So I will copy this and I will just paste it here. Okay, so this is also one of the locator tag name. Okay, so if I write like this and if I put dot size, okay, so this is the, what will happen, it will first with the help of this line, okay, it will identify all the tag names, okay, or you can say all the iframes, because we have provided the tag name of all the iframe, right? So it, suppose you will get two iframes, and with the help of this method it will return you the count. So what is the total I will get, I can store that in one integer variable in total iframe, I can write. Okay, so this, that will going to calculate total iframes. And if I try to print that variable, system.out.println, so I will just copy this and paste this, and if I try to execute it this time, Let us see what is the output we are going to get. So it has finished execution, and then you can see that we are getting 1, which means that in our web page, this is our web page, there is only one frame present, right? And which is this one. Okay, this box, this whole box is only the one iframe which is present. So we can use the indexing concept here as well. So if there is only, let me come here, so what it has returned me 1, right? So if it has returned me 1, which means that we are only having this one, so I have to write 0 here, right? So let me rub this. So if I try to write you can say 0 here, okay, suppose I am writing 0 here, so what will happen, it will easily be shift is focused to this one, which is the only frame present inside our web page. So if I try to do like this, see here, let me open the Eclipse again. Okay, so this time we will not print this because we have already checked there is only one iframe present. So I am removing this and I will paste my rest of the code. I think Control Z will do that for me. So this is our original code. I think this is the one. Yeah, so this time what I will write 0 here, right? I am not going to use XPath or CSS for this. I am just saying that switch to the first frame. You can say first iframe. So we have switched to the driver scope, and after that we are just again going to grab the text and just printing the text. So let us see whether it will work or not. So I have started execution again. So site is open. So I think execution is finished because you can see the site has stopped loading, right? So here you can see that it has printed this text, okay, with the help of this indexing 0. If we provide 0, then it will switch to first frame. If we provide 1, then it will switch to second frame, and likewise so on, okay. So is it clear to everyone that how can we use this by providing like integer value here and switching to frame? Please confirm. Okay, fine. So we will do one activity here because let me open this. Okay, let me first close this. Okay, as you can see here, it is what this website is saying. Okay, so this is drag me to the target. If I left click it, okay, and just try to click paste it here, right? So what will happen, it is saying dropped, right? So this is the activity we have to do with the help of Selenium. Again, I am refreshing what I am trying to say. So if I have to drag and drop this to this, okay, so this is my source element, this left one is my source element, and this is my destination, right? So what I have to do, I have to move the source element to the destination, okay. So with the help of Selenium, how we are going to do that, see, so our first step should be to come to this, to switch our driver object to this iframe, because both these elements are present inside the iframe, okay, then only we can perform this action, right? So we have already done that. So as of now I am reviewing this because I am not going to print the text again. So you can see here that we are switching our driver, okay. After that there is one you can say, let me write it here first, there is one class in Selenium, which is actions class, okay. That class will help us to do that activity. So this is the class, okay. So this is our class, okay. That class will help us to do this activity, which is draggable and droppable. So what if there is a class, you know what you have to do, you have to just create the object first. Actions equals to, suppose this is my object name is obj, equals to new actions, okay. And inside this action class I have to pass this driver, right? It is expecting one, whatever the driver object we have created, okay, then only it can work on the web page, right? Because it will have the knowledge of driver. Okay, so I will paste that my driver object here. Okay, so after that what you have to do, there is one this is the our object, you can see this one. And if I write obj dot, what you have to do, let me again open it. I have to drag and drop to here. Okay, so what is the method it is providing one method, drag and drop. Okay, so consider only first one as of now, right? So this is the method, and it is expecting us, if I point my mouse here. Okay, let me do it again. Dot drag and drop. So it is saying web element source comma web element target. So what is this web element? You can provide XPath, or you can provide CSS, or you can use any other locator. Okay, with source, if you have to tell the source, and if you have to tell what is the target, you can use this web element again, right? You can write XPath or CSS also. So if I click this, so what I will do, first I will write the web element. Okay, so let me open this. Okay, so let me refresh it again. So this is the source web element, right? This left one is my source, and this is my destination. Okay, second one. So I have to write the XPath. Suppose I'm writing XPath. Okay, this time you can write any, you can write CSS as well. So I will write XPath here. So if I have to write the XPath for this box, how I will write? This is very simple. You can see div id equals to draggable. Okay, so I will make the use of this one. So this is the id value, and if I try to write the XPath, see how I will write. Let me write here, double slash tag name is our div, at the rate id is our attribute, equals to what is the value of attribute, draggable, right? So this is one XPath. Okay, and let us also check this, whether we are working on, whether we are having the correct XPath for it or not. I will open the ChroPath again and hit enter. So it is saying one element matching. Okay, and it is also highlighting this entire box. Okay, so which is correct. So I will copy my XPath. Okay, and then, so here I have to provide the source web element. So how you are going to identify your web element? With the help of find element by dot XPath. So this is the, what is the XPath of this is our XPath, and then that's it. Okay, and then you will store that in one web element. Suppose this is my source. Okay, fine. And after that we have to also provide the target web element. So what is our target? Okay, this drop here is our target. So if I try to click here, inspect, okay, and click it, so you can see here again XPath is going to be very simple. Just we have to change one droppable here, right? So I will copy this, and instead of draggable this time, I will just paste droppable. If I paste it and if I hit enter, then you can see that it is highlighting the second box. Okay, so if it is highlighting, which means it is correct, and it is also saying one element matching, which means our XPath is correct. So I will copy my XPath for this target element, second one, and I will write what I will write, web element target equals to driver dot find element by dot, again we have written XPath. What is our XPath? This is our XPath. That's it. Okay, so you can see, okay, one more thing is that, okay, that is fine. Web element, I think, wait. Okay, so what I am trying to say, if you are using action class, right, and if you are performing any operation with the action class, so you may think that I will write like this, then it will work fine. So let us also see whether it is working or not. Okay, so first see whether it is working or not. This method, this one method will just drag your source element to target element, but you will see that this will not work, I think. So website is still loading, you can see. Okay, so you can see that still this this one is not moved to this one. Okay, and I think our code is not failed as well. But what I'm trying to say, if you are using action class, okay, this is the actions class I've used, and if you are using any method of the action class, okay, not only this one, any method, right? If I just go cut this, and you can see there are so many methods, right? So you can use, if you use any of the method, then after that you have to provide two operation, right? One is build. After that, what this is saying, it is just compiling this whole action, right? Whatever this action you have provided, with the help of this one you have compiled it, and after that there is one more method which is perform, and it is just saying that perform the action whatever you have provided. So if you do like this, then this time you will see it will perform the required action, okay, which we have provided, that is dragging the source element to the target element. So let the browser open, and it has again started the website. Okay, so you able to see that it has done very fast this time, that it has just dragged the source element to the target element. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, so again I'm saying that you should not miss these two steps, right? These are very important, right? This step, this build will compile whatever the action you have provided, right? Because there can be multiple actions in this line, right? And after that you have to this provide this. So this is what I want to tell for the time frame concept. Okay, so you can also do, okay, I will provide you the assignment. Okay, okay, so there is this we have completed, and okay, so this is also very important topic, which is assertions in Selenium, right? So if I talk about the definition first, okay, assertion. So what is the definition? Let me write it after that. Okay, then we will see how we have to work. So you can see assertions are the validations or the checkpoint. Let me write it here. Assertions are the validations, or you can say checkpoint. Okay, checkpoint. Okay, so assertion will help to verify your test case. Okay, so here, okay, so till now what we are trying to do, okay, as you have seen earlier, suppose if I remove this code first, okay, okay, let me copy this code, okay, then I, so that I can share that after the class first. So let me copy here, and so if I paste this code here, and then okay, iframe code. So I have set this code. Okay, so if I remove this, so let me remove this as well. So earlier what you used to do, suppose we have opened this website, right? And after that I am just fetching one text, int text equals to, sorry, not integer, I am fetching suppose some random text. Okay, so suppose we are fetching that text. Okay, as of now I am writing here. Okay, but suppose we are fetching that with the help of using get text method. After that what we used to do, we used to print that text in our console. So why we used to print this text? Okay, so that we can check whether we are getting the, suppose it is printed sample here. Okay, in our output it will print sample, so we can check, yes, okay, we are getting the correct sample, and in the website as well sample is present, this text is present, so our text is correct. But in a practical part you should not do like this every time, right? So there should be some mechanism which will automatically fill the script if it do not find the desired text. So see how, if I come here again, so what I am saying, assertions are the validations, or you can say the checkpoints. Okay, assertions will help you to verify your test case. Okay, so it has two types. Okay, so before starting with the type, let us see how we have to download some of the jar. Okay, this is the website. Okay, let me copy this. So before working on the assertion, okay, you have to download the jars from here. So if I open this website, so okay, this is the website. Okay, so actually why testng is written here because testng framework will provide all these assertion, right? So we are downloading the testng framework jar. So as of now, just download this, click here. Okay, so one file will be downloaded automatically. Okay, so after the download, after it will download, just let me wait for the download to finish. It is still loading. And okay, so it has downloaded. After that, I will click show in folder, and here you will see jar files too. And just what you have to do, just click on extract all. Okay, and just extract, and after that you will see some of the jar file, right? So these are all the testng jar file, right? So what you have to do, you have to give this jar file knowledge to your Eclipse. So how you are going to give, just copy this, copy the path, and come to your Eclipse. Okay, so this is our project Selenium demo 1. Okay, do not consider this top one. This is our project Selenium demo 1. Okay, so right click and just come to property, just like we have provided the Selenium bars. Okay, at the starting. So again I will go to this Java build path. Okay, click this Java build path and select this class path, and after that add external jar. Okay, and paste the path here. Okay, so this is all the jar, and just right click and click on open. Okay, so I am already having it in my Eclipse project. Due to this reason I am not clicking on open. Okay, so but if you are doing first time, then you have to select all these and click on open. As of now I am cancelling it because I am already having it in my Eclipse project. Okay, and after that just click on apply and click on apply and close. So that's all what you have to do to, you can say, to give the knowledge of assertion to your Selenium, right? So is it clear to everyone? I will also share the link as well in the classroom. Okay, I hope everyone is clear with it. So what I will do, let me, okay, I think we should start from here. Okay, so assume, let me open Amazon website. Suppose if I am opening this Amazon website, let me copy this website URL, and then what I will do, I will paste it here. Okay, after that what I will do, I will, suppose I have to fetch this text. Okay, mobile's text. So I will write one XPath for that. Again the same step, inspect it and click here. So it is here. Okay, so what I will do, I will first reach here with the help of relative XPath. So how I will going to write, see here on the crow path, I will write double slash tag name at the rate, you can say id is our attribute, and what is the value of id attribute, which is this one. Okay, if I press enter, then you will see that it has highlighted all these, right? You can say the dotted lines below, right? But we have to reach here, right? So you can see all these links, mobiles bestseller, today's deal, computer books, so many are there, but we are interested in this one, right? And this is the child of this one. So I can use the absolute XPath here. I will write slash of a of 1 because we are interested only in mobile, right? So after that you can see that it will select this mobiles box. Okay, so I have written one absolute XPath for that, and after that I will come here, and after that what I will write, I will fetch the text. So how I will fetch the text, driver dot find element by dot XPath again. So what is our XPath, this is our XPath, and after providing it I have to, what method I will use, I will use get text. This is the method I will use. Okay, so that will grab me the text. So now we will use the, so this time I am not going to print that, right? Earlier we used to print that, but this time I will not going to print that I will make the use of assertion, right? Make the use of assertion. So see here, if I write assert, okay, dot assert true, I think, so this is the one. Okay, So what will happen, see here, if I copy this first, let me copy it and write it here. As of now we are not discussing the type, just focus here. If I write like this, so if this step, if you provide true here, right, true, okay, if you provide true here, but if you provide false inside that method, you can say it will not throw the exception. Okay, but if you provide false, this time you are providing the false in this method, right, then it will throw the exception, throw one exception. So what I will do, so this method works this way, right? If inside the argument of this method you will provide true, then it will say okay, your script is passing, right, because it will not throw the exception. But if you provide true inside the false here, then it will throw the one exception. So let me open this first, then it will be more clear. So here what I'm trying to say, I will use this assertion, right? Here inside that what I will do, suppose before that text, okay, so I will, let me write like this, text we fetched. Okay, this is the text we fetched, and suppose string compare. Okay, so this is what I am providing, right, that okay, so this is my, I am saying that that should be the text present, right? So what is the text? Suppose I am saying mobiles. Okay, I am saying that when we will fetch the text from the browser, it should match with this. Okay, so if I like write like this, and inside that what I will write, inside this one, right, so there is one, if you have to compare the two string, then what I can write, I can write compare to dot equals. So this is the method, right? Or I think, I hope you all are knowing that method as of now, because we have already used it so many times. So this will be equal to this, we are checking simply that, right, whether these two strings are equal. So if the, suppose what will happen, if these two strings are equal, right, this method will return true, and we are providing true inside that. So what will happen, you can say your script will pass. Okay, but suppose these two strings are not equal. Okay, so inside that what this method will return, that will return false. So what will happen, inside of this you are providing false, that means your script will fail, right? So as of now you can see, if I write system.out.println, so if I write hello here, you can say okay, I will write hello here. Again if I write 2-3 more line of code, suppose, okay, and then I am saying hello Sumit, something like this. Okay, so these are the two lines of code. Okay, so if I try to, this time let me first run that program, you will get more clarity. So it has again started. Amazon website is open, and that I think it has already, okay, so you can say, so you can say that this line, okay, it has not thrown any error. Why? Because you are getting us, see, this is this text mobiles, capital M is there, and also you can say capital M is there, right? So we are having the same text. So this is the reason this line has not thrown any exception, right, this highlighted one. And our next two lines are also executed because our, you can say, code is not filled in between. And if I try to see this time, if I compare, if I write small m here, or I will write some, okay, so I am writing like this, suppose I am writing mobile here, right? So if I try to compare this time, right, see what happen, it will fail because the text will not match. If I open it again, so Amazon website is opened again, and then it will fetch this mobile's text. Okay, but this time you can say it has failed, right? You can say at line number 28, you can see here child window dot java dot, this is my class name, right, child window. You can see that this is the class name. Okay, this is the class name. So it is saying at class at 28 line it has thrown exception. Why? Because this time this mobile text and capital MOBILES text are not same. And is it clear to everyone that how we are using the assertion to check whether we are working correctly or not. Okay, so one more thing I think you have noticed as well. These two lines are not executed this time, right? Because we are failed here, because exception thrown here is thrown here due to, let me write it, due to which next two lines are not executed, right? So this is one drawback, you can say. Okay, so there is some more methods as well. Suppose this is one method, right? So there is one more method as well. So let me comment this. Okay, we are using some other method. Like, what is the method? There is one more method which is assert dot assert false. So earlier true was here, right? You can see true was here earlier, but this time it is false. So if you provide false here, if you, let me write it here only, if you provide false here, then it will not throw the exception, right? It is just reverse of the first one. Okay, it will not throw exception. Okay, if I write true inside that, if I write true, then what will happen? It will throw the exception, right? So this is just the reverse of the previous method, you can say. So how we are going to use that, see here. So suppose this time, okay, this time what I'm saying, that suppose I have to compare this text. I am saying that, okay, I have made one change in the website, due to which, you can say here first, what I will say, I am saying that I have made one change in my website due to which this mobile's text will look like this. Okay, assume as of now, right, that mobile's text will look like this now, right? So I am saying, okay, so what I have to do, I have to run one program so that I will validate my criteria, right? So again we will fetch the text. Okay, so I am assuming that I will get this text, but what happen, you can say here, if I write again this whole, okay, let me write it here only. So if I write, let me, this is the method, right? So again we will compare the string, this is the string, compared to dot equals, and I will say, okay, not mobiles, it is this one. Okay, this is the text we are fetching. So you can say here, if I write it like this, I think it is fine. So what will happen, I am saying that this text and this one should not match because it has changed to this one, right? But what happened, suppose you can say here, because this one and this one is different as of now, you can see here capital M is there, so condition will become true. Okay, so condition will become, I think, because false will come inside, right? Because I think, yeah, false will come inside, but it will not throw the exception. Why? Because I have already told you that if you write like this, again I am writing dot assert, right? So if inside that false will come, then it will not throw the exception. So you can see here that this string and whatever the string we are going to fetch from here, right, that will be different. So this way that will not throw any exception, right? It will not throw the exception and these two lines will execute. See here, if I try to run it again, so my requirement is that these two texts should not match, so I can use this method in that case. So it has finished execution, I think. Yeah, so after that you can say that these two lines are printed. So actually our requirement was to verify whether this text, mobile one and this one, should not match. But what happens, suppose if both started to match, right? So suppose from here, if I write mobile, again mobile, okay, so this is the same text we are providing here. So this time I am saying that, suppose assume you have done some code changes in your website and that mobiles should look like this. Okay, just assume as of now. But what happened when you try to run the, you can say, or you can say like this, that you have changed this mobile text to this one. Okay, I am saying again that what you have done, you have just changed the mobile's name to like this. Okay, but when you are trying to validate that, if I write, if I again try to execute it, this time what will happen? This one, this string, right? Mobiles dot equals, and we are going to get the same text. So that means it will return true. Let me write it again. Asset dot asset false. It will return true this time, right? So it will return true. If it will return true, then what will happen? It will throw the exception, right? Because that this method works this way. Okay, so let me remove this. Okay, so this time it will throw the exception because the texts are similar. So if I try to run it again, this time you will see that these two lines will not execute because we are going to get one exception here. So let us wait for the code to finish. It has again started website, and so you can see that exception is occurred. You can see this is our class name child window. What is the line number? 31. So this is the line number 31. You can see, right? So why? Because the condition inside of that will become true. So that, okay, so likewise there is also one more method. Let me, if I remove this. Okay, so what I have done, I have clicked something. Okay, so what I will do, there is one more method as well. Let me comment this as well. Assert dot assert, I think equals. Okay, so this is one method. Okay, I don't know what. Okay, so it is saying that it is not depreciated, means that they have removed that method. Let me, I think they have not removed the method. Let me use it again. Is this one? Okay. Okay, I think that, let me try to provide that some text. Okay, so it is working, no issue. So what this method will do, right? So on the left side you will provide one text. Suppose you are providing this text. Suppose I am providing one, again mobile. Okay, and on the right side you are providing this one. So what this equals method will do, it will check whether these two strings are not equal or not, right? So that you do not have to provide this compare to dot equal method, right? Inside that you can directly use this method if you want to compare the two string, right? So if I, you can see here these two strings are different. So what will happen? It will throw exception, right? These two strings are different, so throws exception. So if it throws the exception, see here again, let me try to run that. It has again opened website, and then execution will be finished. So if I open this, so you can see that again it has thrown exception, and you can see on the exception what it is saying: expected mobile, right? It is expecting this mobile, but what it found, capital MOBILE. So this is the reason that it is throwing the error. Okay, and you can also see the line number 33. So this way we can also use this method as well. Okay, and we are also getting what, why it is failing, right? Because it expected mobile, but it found capital M and then mobile. Okay, so here you can see there is one issue. If suppose if I provide the same value this time, let me provide this value. I hope you are able to see that when exception will occur, rest of the our code will not execute at all, right? This is our rest of the code. But what will happen if if there is no exception, right? If no exception, so this time exception will not be thrown because these two are same. So if I try to run it again, you will see our rest of the code will execute. So this time our rest of the code will execute because our script will not fail. So I think, so you can see that rest of the code is also executed, right? When no exception is occur. But if the exception occur, what is happening? These two lines of code are not executed, these two, right? So what is the difference? Let me tell you, these types of assertion, right? Whatever the three assertions which we have discussed till now, we have discussed assert false. Yeah, as of now, I have told you for the understanding point of view, you can write that whole method driver.getText here. Okay. Yeah, just for the understanding purpose, I'm telling you, right? You can use that driver.findElement and with the help of getText, store that in a string and paste it here, right? Okay. So, okay. Okay. I'm not getting your question. Yeah. Yeah, it will not execute from the website, right? It will execute from here only. Yeah. If you what I'm trying to say, if you write like this, string text driver dot find element by dot xpath only, and I will write get text here, right? So what is the xpath? I think this is the xpath. Yeah, this is the xpath. Okay, so we can use this variable only, right? Because this will fetch mobile. So I can place this. Let me remove this. I can place it here. I can place that string variable here, right? So it will now compare with the original one, right? If I write m here, then you will see that it will fail. Let us check as well. Let us check. It will fail because capital M will come here, but here it is small m. So now it will do the code from the website, right? This type. So it is again started. Which one? No. Here, why you will write? You can see the code is failed. You will write compared to here only because but here you do not require the compare to. It is automatically comparing. Here, where this one. This one. So yeah, you can write this one here as well. You can write here as well. It's up to you, right? For the understanding point of view. So this time if we try to compare, it will return true because capital mobi alias is here compared to it here as well. So let us, if we try to run it, this time it will execute normally. It will not fail because both the strings are similar. So it will finish the execution, I think. Yeah, it is finished, and then inside after that you will see hello and Sumit are printed, right? Because it will not fill. Both the strings are similar. So is it clear to everyone? Okay, so what I was saying that when any exception occur at this point, exception occur, right? Suppose. So you can see these two lines of code are not executing at all, right? But what happens, suppose after that you have written some huge lines of code, right? And it is very important code. Suppose you have written very important code here, but due to this failure it will not execute, right? So there is one disadvantage. And okay, who wants to join? Okay, so what I was saying, what is this, whatever
Sorry,
the
I don't understand.
whatever the assertions I have used here, wait a minute, huh? Okay, what I was saying that whatever the assertions you have used till now, which is this one, this is the first one, I think. Okay, I am making it blank. Okay, you can provide true and false, whatever you like. And let me remove this as well. And this is one assertion, and this is, and there is also one more which I just discussed, which is assert dot assert equals, right? So these are the three assertions which we have discussed. But the problem with this method is, you can say assertion is, whenever it will throw the exception, our rest of the important code is not going to execute, right? So let me first, what I will do, Okay, so these are the three methods which we have discussed. So these kind of methods are called hard assertions. Hard assertion, you can say. Why these are hard assertion? Because if there is one exception being thrown at any point in the code, then our, you can see here again, if it will throw exception, right, it is also a kind of hard assertion, we can say. Hard assertion. Why it is hard assertion? Because if it throws the exception at this point, our very important code which we have written below that, below this, will not going to execute, right? So these kind of assertions are called hard assertion, right? So to deal with that situation, what we will use one concept which is called soft assertion. Okay, we have one more concept here. To deal with that situation, we can use this one. Let me make it dark. Okay, so here also you, what you have to do in Selenium, they have provided one class for this soft assertion. So if I, let me first write the definition, then it will be good. Then if you use hard assertion, then if it throw exception at some point, then after that your rest of the code not execute, right? But suppose that code is very important to you and you also want that, okay, our test will fail but our rest of the code should also execute, so that we can know how the rest of the code is behaving, right? So this is one disadvantage, code not execute at all. So this is one disadvantage of hard assertion. These are all the three methods, you can say, for the hard assertion, right? So in the soft assertion, what will happen if you use this, then even after condition will not match, okay, your test case will not fail, okay, will not fail. Okay, so one more thing, we can also say soft assertion is verify, right? You can also say these are the verify methods only for verification purpose, but it will not fail. So if I let me, okay, so you can also say this to as verify methods, right? So what I'm saying, if you use this, even after the condition will not match, your test case will not fail and the rest of the code will execute, right? So how we are going to see here, so this is the, let me again copy this code. Okay, let me comment this. Okay, let me comment this only. Okay, so what I will do, wait, okay, so what I will do, this time I will use soft assertion, right? I will use soft assertion, okay, in my code, assertion in my code. So this time I will use this one. So what will happen, suppose before that, if we have to use any method of the soft assertion, there is one class which is called this one, soft assert. Suppose this is my object, or you can say SA, okay, equals to new. Okay, this, I am just simply making the object of this class which is provided by the Selenium. Okay, just import the package as well. This is the package, okay. Okay, error is gone. After that, whatever the methods which we have discussed, right, name is similar here as well. So in this one as well, right, these three methods are here as well, right? But here you will see these three methods we are going to use with the help of this object. So if I write SA, let me come here, SA dot assert, so this is the one, right? First one, again same, if you provide true inside that, it will not fail, okay, and if you provide false also, it will not fail, okay. So let us first check how it is working. So again, if I have to use this one, so we have to compare this text with this one, right? So again, if I, let me, so let me write some random data here. If I write compare to, here to dot equals. Again I am using this method, and I am saying that okay, it should be equal to mob. Okay, but you see this one and this one are not similar, right? So it should fail as it was failing earlier, but we are using the soft assertion here, so it should not fail. Okay, and you will see that both these line of code will execute this time, okay, because it will not throw the exception. See here, first let me try to run it. So it has again opened the website. So it has opened the website again, and then this time condition should become fail, but you can see that it has not thrown any exception, right? Is it clear to everyone that if we use this soft assert one, okay, so you may be wondering that what is the purpose of writing like this, right? If it is not throwing the error. Okay, I will tell you in a short while, but as of now, is it clear to everyone how we have to use this? Yeah. Yeah, that is just random data I provided. It is comparing to this one. Okay, you can use get text again. Okay, so what I'm saying, this is the method, right, which is similar to this one, you can say, but here we have to use the object here, right? So object will, with the help of object only, you will able to use this. Okay, so again also you can say, if this is the second method, okay, similar method, okay, you can say just like the hard assertion. If I again use object name, okay, let me comment this as a dot, you can say assert false. Okay, so inside that as well, whatever, if you provide false, then it will not throw the exception, right? But inside that, if you provide true as well, so you should understand that it should throw the exception, but it is not throwing because it is soft assert, right? So what will happen if I use this again? Any random data you can take as of now. So what will happen again? Condition will become false, so it will not throw any exception, right? Okay, that in that case it will definitely not going to throw the exception because the condition is true. Inside that false will come, then no issue. But inside that, if true also comes, suppose what is the compare to value, this is the one, right? Compared to mobiles. So if I write mobiles only here, so that case what will happen, true will come here. Okay, so true will come here because condition is true, and it should throw the exception because it is not matching. But as it is soft assertion, it is not going to throw the error. See here, if I run this, okay, so I think I have run the previous one as well, so it will, so condition will become, you can say, false here. Okay, so it will not fail, and it anyways, let me run it again because we have to provide true here, okay, not false. So what I'm saying, I have to provide capital MOBILES. Okay, so this time it should fail, but as it is soft assertion, okay, it will not fail. So if I run this, so it has opened again. You can see still it is not filled, right, as it is soft assertion. So this is one thing. Okay, so there is also one more method just like similar to that, which is this one, assert dot assert equal. So if we use this, try to use this, let me comment this time. If I write sa dot assert equals, okay, let me write it again, equals. Okay, so if I use this method again, so whatever you provide, right, suppose you provide okay, again I am saying that I am taking just some random data mobile here, and then if I provide suppose we'll say anything like a Samsung here, right, anything, so these two strings are not same, so it should fail. But as it is soft assertion, right, one more thing, that it will fail, but it is not failing at this point, so that our rest of the code will execute, right? So if I try to run this, still it will not throw any exception, and our very important code which we have written will execute. See here, if I try to run this, again it will run my browser. Okay, so this time, okay, so you can see that these two strings are not same, even this has not thrown any exception. Okay, so and due to which our very important code has finished execution. But one thing you might be wondering that, okay, let me first close this. You might be thinking that we are just writing like this, it is not failing at all, then how we can be sure that our test case is passed or failed, right? Because it is not throwing any exception whether the condition is wrong or true. So there is also one more method. At the end of that, what will write after your, suppose this is the from here to here, you have written some very important code, right? And you want that to execute. So after that, what I will write one more method, which is object name dot assert all. So what this method will do, this method at the end will collect all exceptions and fail your test. But you can see here, even if it, what will let, okay, let me first execute it again. So earlier you are seeing that it is not failing, right? So if I try to, okay, moreover I think I am not depending on the browser, so this time I'm not going to open this, right? I think, okay, so let me try to run it again. If I write that, what will happen? See, so again website has finished execution, and this time you will see your test case will fail, but your important code should also be executed, right? So see here what happened. Till this point you can say, let me come here. Till this point, see here what the exception is. Are you able to read? See, expected Samsung, it has expected Samsung here, but it found mobile, so due to which exception is thrown, but it has not thrown exception at this line, right? Before that we have executed our important code, and after that I am using this method at the end, so that it will tell me whether your test case is passed or not. And suppose there is one more, you can say this is also the, so if I write suppose if I write Samsung here as well. So if I write, okay, let me write the same string, because this time true should come inside. So what will happen? This will return me true, this will return me true. How? Because both the strings are same, and it should throw an exception. It will not throw the exception at this point, okay, but after I use this, it will throw the exception at last. See how? If I again, so this will return true, okay, it will return true inside. Okay, so what will happen? It will throw exception, but not at this point. Okay, let me, this time I will open in debug mode, right? Sorry, exception. So if I, let me run this in debug mode this time, and you will see what will happen. So it has finished execution, and then, okay, so we came here. Okay, so what it is saying inside that, what is the, this condition will become true, so it should throw an exception, but as it is a soft assertion, it will not throw the exception here, and it will move forward. So it has moved forward, right? You can see not any exception in the console. Again also here as well, mobile and Samsung, it should throw an exception because they both are not equal, but it will not throw the exception here. Okay, and we are going to execute our important code, so we have executed these two lines. After that, this method will throw the exception of these two. Okay, if I click this, okay, so let me press this resume, right? So it will execute till the last. So you can see that after the execution of our important code, you can see that it has thrown two exception, right? Okay, let me come here again. I think this is the one, right? So first, what is the first exception? It is saying expected false. It is saying expected false inside this. But what it found true, right? So it thrown one exception. Okay, and what is the second exception it is throwing? It is saying that expected Samsung here, but it found mobile. So this is the reason it is throwing two exception. But you can see with the help of soft assertion, we are able to execute our important code, right? So this is where you can use the hard assertion and soft assertion in your code. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, fine. So this is how you can. Okay, so there in interview as well, they may ask you this kind of question, that what is the difference between hard and soft assertion, so you can explain all that stuff, right? So let me write it here as well. Okay, so understand this one. These, whatever the methods you are using in soft assertion, right, these are all the verify method. Verify in the sense that you will just verify, you will not throw the exception at that point. So this is the reason that they are also called the verify method, right? So if I write it here, let me. Okay, so before that, after that I will write. Okay, so these are the basic difference between this soft and hard assertion, right? So that's all for today. Okay, I hope you guys have learned something new this time again. Is it clear to everyone, right? Okay, so thank you everyone for attending today's session. I will be sharing the recording in few hours. Okay, then you can also watch the recording as well. Thank you.